and welcome back to the PC Gamer Weekender livestream. I'm Zoe and I'm here with Ben and Mark to talk about 2 Point Hospital, but before we get started we have a trailer to watch.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. For years at 2 Point Hospital, it's been our mission to help and to heal. Take Trevor, for instance. Trevor used to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. Life was good. He slept easily. That was until he suddenly developed lightheadedness. The daily commute is now even more of a grind for Trevor. Even simple pleasures like heading to the movies can be painful. Every day we welcome new admissions to our growing multi-million-dollar facility. Our team of highly trained clinicians and support staff are dedicated to your well-being. We'll do whatever it takes. At 2 Point Hospital, we never stop improving. We never stop building. We never stop caring. Isn't that right, Trevor? Call 4417-529-USIC today to book your free consultation.
So, 2 Point Hospital, spiritual successor to a beloved Bullfrog game. Just how exactly did this project come about?
I think it's something that Gary Carr and I have been talking about for a long time. Gary Carr and I made Theme Hospital about 21 years ago, and we kind of had ideas to make a bunch of other games in this vein. So things like we thought Theme Prison and Theme Resort, but we kind of went our own ways and ended up working together a number of times at a number of different companies, and it kind of it came from that love of making these kind of games, really. So the opportunity came up for us to kind of get together, make a fantastic team, build a fantastic team of people, new people, and some people that we'd worked with, and that's kind of where it came from.
So what did you want to do differently with this game then, with 2 Point Hospital?
Well, we wanted to bring it up to date, and you would talk about this as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was about kind of what can you do with modern technology, right? I mean, obviously we wanted to go to 3D, be able to spin around and zoom in and zoom out, and you see your whole hospital all in one go, and zoom right in and then really examine the nuances of what the little people are doing, all of the little animations and their behaviours, and really be able to focus in on that kind of stuff, as well as having, you know, a few little social bits here and there, that kind of thing. But yeah, there's all sorts of stuff in there.
Yeah, I think there was some certainly frustrations playing Theme Hospital, you know, all those years ago. The game was incredibly hard, and if you hit that brick wall, that's it. You either restarted or you just didn't get any further. And I think just 20 odd years of experience of making and playing games, the stuff that we've done at Lionhead and Bullfrog, and things that other teams have done. You know, I think there's a lot of learning that's we've kind of crammed into this as well.
And of course, a big part of the feature of 2 Point Hospital is the comedy illnesses, of course. So how do you come up with them?
Well, it quite often just starts with someone coming in on a Monday morning and just having some ridiculous pun. Yeah. Basically, we'll just be chatting around the office and someone will just think of some ridiculous pun, and from there the art guys will quite often get inspired. They'll go away and think about, right, what's gonna look cool based on that. They'll come up with a few ideas, and we kind of pick and choose which ones we think are going to work the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes the puns work, sometimes they don't, and sometimes you kind of think, yeah, this is really rubbish.
We'll reject the ones where it's just a pun and it doesn't get any better.
We tried to reject some of them, or I tried to reject some, and then the animators do an amazing job of you go, now that's brilliant, and they kind of. Yeah. So I think the ideas do come from everywhere. It's kind of, that's the studio. There's a lot of creative people. There's not really much of a hierarchy in the studio. It's a pretty flat studio, and people are putting ideas in and just go, how about this, how about that? They get changed and modified, and dropped and re-emerge, and they just come from a lot of different places. So if it's making us laugh, then it's a good thing, and I think that's largely a lot of it. If we're laughing about it, it's good.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple previously here at the PC Gamer Weekender, the Curse of the Mummy and Grey Anatomy.
Yeah.
Paint me a visual picture about what those are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Grey Anatomy
is as it sounds.
Besides the pun, I can't actually remember what came first, if it was the visual or the.
Well, there's Grey Anatomy or it's Crohn's disease, which I mean, so this kind of silly idea of just somebody with no colour, they're just grey.
Like that person at the bottom left of the screen?
Yeah, you can see them
right.
there.
Yeah,
they've been diagnosed. I mean, it's quite obvious that they've got a bit of a problem there. It's not just their skin that's grey, it's for some reason it just affects all of their clothes and everything. And they're going to have to go to the chromotherapy department to have some colour reapplied, which you will see later
as this
in
gets
video.
to it, So, and I think when it gets to the animators and the artists, they kind of, you've got the illness, but then you've got the cure side of the machine of the illness, and how do you reapply colour to somebody? You spray paint them, and so as the animations and the artwork comes together, it kind of completes the picture.
Yeah. So, do you see this leading to like other spiritual successors, to other previous theme games? Like you've described it as your Springfield. So, are there any ideas in the work for like any other kind of institutions?
There is certainly ideas in the work. The idea for 2 Point County, and the reason we formed the studio was to make these kind of sim games. We love making them, we love playing them, and I think this was something that it was a good thing to kick us off, and I think the next one is we're still kicking that around a bit. So, but more things in 2 Point County. I don't think you'll see. The next one we do is going to be quite different, quite unique, but still in this sim world. Yeah.
I mean, the important thing for us was to make 2 Point County feel like a place that exists beyond just the hospitals that you're looking at, and you get a little sneak peek of 2 Point County in the video, little corner of the map. And it's important for us to make it feel like there are characters that are part of 2 Point County that will be recurring characters, and you'll see them in multiple places. And
and the Sims interacting with each other as well. So I've got this Sim, and we're not doing a prison, but if you had a prison, you'd imagine some of the patients ending up in prison, or certainly some of the doctors, and maybe some of the. But that's not what we do. But that kind of interaction between the kind of Sims that you've brought into the world will be quite fun as well. We like the idea of that.
So you mentioned doctors going to prison. Anyone who's played the first kind of spiritual game successor to this, will know things can go really wrong really quickly. So how did you kind of create those slightly scandalous doctor characters in 2 Point Hospital?
Well, I think there's a lot more personality to the patients and the doctors as well. I mean, you want to talk about the trait system maybe?
Well, we were quite keen on making sure that people could have their favourite doctors and their favourite nurses, and I mean even your favourite janitors, right? And as part of doing that, we looked at other games out there and we kind of thought, well, how can we add some real personality to these people? And so each member of staff that you employ has a different set of character traits, and that's going to influence their behaviours and their performance and lots of other stuff. And I mean, the thing that we've really tried to do is make that quite readable, so it's not just a stat hidden away somewhere. It's something that you can see in their animations. You might see 2 members of staff going on a break, and they happen to meet up in the staff room, and one of them's just shouting at the other one, shaking their fist at them, and the other one's doing a little dance, because that's just the kind of person that they are. And so we really want to create that sense of them being interesting.
We certainly tried to expand the personality side of the not just the doctors, the nurses, the hospital assistants, and the janitors, and the patients as well, because having a very angry patient is something we're probably anyone that works in the NHS is probably quite familiar with those kind of characters.
So can the patients clash with the doctors then in that case?
Absolutely, yeah.
That I would pay good money to see that, definitely. Especially things I might have just seen a coffin in an office in a bit of a previous footage.
Oh, here's the chromotherapy cure. So she's actually getting spray paint sprayed there. She's had 2 colours applied now, red, green, and blue.
And that cures her grey anatomy.
Yeah,
indeed.
She gives her a bit of colour.
Yep.
Makes sense. So, just like how good can you get your hospital? Like, can you get a sort of gold stage where the health inspectors swoon as they come in the door out of gratitude? Like,
oh yes,
yeah.
You can kind of, I mean, you can develop the hospitals how you want to, and you know, try and max them out in different ways. But we have this concept of the star rating for your hospital, so that's kind of your overall measure of how good it is and how well you've achieved some of the objectives that you have in that location. But yeah, you can try and impress different types of VIPs, right? It's not just about a health inspector. There's you know, the celebrity character that might come and visit your hospital, and you might impress them in different ways. So yeah, you can really try and focus in on those sorts of things, try and win different types of awards.
We've tried to give the player a lot of different kind of goals, and because people play it in different ways. I mean, some people will play hard and try and get 3 stars and max out their the valuation of their hospital. Other people are going to just enjoy the making a really pleasant looking hospital where everyone's happy, and they're into kind of changing all the trimmings and everything. And so I think it's good to be able to allow people to play in the way they want to play, but give direction and give some challenge as well.
I think that, there's a bit of high-level direction, but how you achieve that and what other goals you achieve is kind of up to you. And the other thing is that you can revisit a hospital later on, even if you've started building up another hospital somewhere else in the county. You can come back and try and achieve a bit more on some of your earlier hospitals, so you never lose anything.
So you might have learned something new or unlocked something through research, and you can go back to an earlier hospital. So instead of this being a kind of linear experience, we kind of wanted people to feel like they had a bunch of hospitals that I get this to a certain point and I might want to move on, because ultimately you're managing a healthcare empire, as it were, with a bunch of hospitals. And
So is there like a story campaign? Is there like any kind of narrative pushing through it? Is it just...
I guess there's a sort of light sense of that. I wouldn't necessarily call it a story, because that possibly suggests it's sort of too scripted, but ultimately, I mean, starting from the very tiny little hospital in one corner of 2 Point County.
So as you move around the county, you're moving into different kind of areas. So there's a snowy region up in the mountains, different kind of problems. You've got to keep the hospital warm. You've got different kinds of illnesses. There's a very hot area. There's a
spoilers. You just sort of like
just ruined
spoiling all of the things. It's okay. It's fine.
But so that's the kind of narrative as you kind of play round 2 Point County, and it kind of, I guess, it mimics the world.
We also have this sense of there being these rival organisations, and so to some extent that's kind of one of your long-term goals in the game, is to get to the point where really you can beat them in whatever measure you want to, whether it's reputation or valuation.
That would be the narrative. So it's as Ben says, it's not a story-based game, but it's got a structure or a structure how we imagine it. And of course, people are going to play it differently anyway.
So when you say rival factions or corporations, do you mean like pharmaceutical companies or
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of them out there. Some are pleasant, some are evil. They're all just about making money. And I mean, you're running a private hospital. You're running some different kinds of hospitals as well. But
spoilers.
I spoiled everything. First time out, and we spoiled everything. Can't say any more there.
That's fine. Sounds like there's going to be some devious masterminds working against you who you can sort of try and topple yourself. Sounds awfully fun, So you mentioned different regions like hot and cold, different illnesses for different regions as well?
Lots of illnesses, lots of different illnesses, lots of visual illnesses with visual cures, and lots of Yeah, lots of variation as you go around.
Yeah, and associated with that, there's also new areas of research you'll discover that you can kind of start investigating, and new things that you get that you can put in your hospitals, and that might make you want to go back to some of your old ones and start using some of these new items and technology.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to start my healthcare empire. Thanks so much for talking to me about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
So next up we have LG Gaming in about 10 minutes, so make sure to tune back in then to see what they've got to say about gaming.